Okay. What did I say? White chocolate on the beat.
White chocolate on the beat.
White chocolate.
What's good, everyone? Welcome back to TheRoom podcast, episode number 15. Thank you for joining us today. I got my co-hosts with me, Brandon and Joey.
What up, what up?
And today we have a very special guest on the show, Mr. Fuentes, a.k.a. Brandon's Faja.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
How's everyone doing? Or how you doing?
Good, good.
That's good.
How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Another day.
Feeling lively, man.
Yeah, it's nice to have you on the show. I know this has been in the works for a little bit, but making the time and stuff like that.
You know what? As soon as I heard you guys were going to start this, I got interested because I just wanted to hear what you young generation had to talk about.
Yeah, the young bucks.
But I definitely listened to your sessions. As soon as you put it out there, I was listening to it, man, because you guys, I got high interest on you guys and on your lives.
Yeah, for sure. But it's nice to have you. Like I said, to pretty much get started, I don't want to make this exactly like an interview. But, honestly,
special appearance.
Yeah, special appearance. I could say, like, honestly, this man right here, he's known me, or I've known him, I guess you could say, for a very long time.
Long time, since you guys were in diapers.
Yeah, in diapers, so since the ground up.
Yeah.
breaking towel racks and everything.
Yeah, I know. I remember using my bathroom as a jungle gym and swinging on it and breaking the towel racks. Golly.
One day I'll repay you for that. Sorry.
All right.
A little tight pockets right now.
I'm charging a little interest on that too.
Yeah, really a lot of interest. But to pretty much get started, I know your life has been, I don't want to say your age. How do you want to say your age?
I'm 53.
53. So you've been in this world. You've dealt with a lot of things. You've learned a lot.
Yes.
And one thing I've always wondered, knowing you is like, how was your upbringing when you were growing up?
It wasn't a perfect upbringing, but we were definitely not rich. But when you're young, you don't notice things like that.
Yeah.
We always had food on the table. 90% of the time, we had some hard times growing up, but we survived through it. I was raised and we were minorities where we were raised up at. So we had rocks thrown at us, and when we were sent to the grocery store, I literally had to run to the corner store, and run back as fast as I can before the other kids saw us, because they chase after us and beat us up and all types of stuff. Mm-hmm. But that, you look at those things as a blessing, because I got really fast.
Yeah.
Ended up joining the track team.
That was a lot of running.
Got fast.
And it's funny how things work out that way. I don't know if you guys ever saw that movie Slumdog Millionaire. Mm-hmm. You saw that movie? Mm-hmm. And he was able to answer all those questions, not because he studied it, because he lived it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that I can answer now at my age, not because I studied it or read a book or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's because I lived it.
Yeah.
So going back, I joined the track team, did well, ended up, they needed a long jumper and high jumper. I ended up being a high jumper and long jumper. And that got me into basketball. And once I got into basketball and I started playing with the other kids in my teenage years, that's when they started accepting me. It's amazing how sports bring people together.
Yeah, really though.
And I was always, I was high rebounder, and I did a lot of things in sports, but that's another chapter in my life.
Yeah, he was a dunker. He could dunk the ball at
you were dunking
age at 13.
I was in eighth grade, and I was grabbing that rim with force.
That's where I got my hops from.
I was 13.
Lordy Lord.
Until I got injured.
Yeah, I'm serious.
That's Brandon's excuse every time he jumps.
Yeah, it is.
I got injured in middle school. It still affects me now.
Broke a fibula.
Ankle injury, knee injury, that's enough, man. But yeah, my dad's athletic.
Yeah, so
you grew up, pretty much like playing sports. Played football as well. Did you ever play football?
I did play football. I played track, football, and basketball. Soccer wasn't too popular when I was growing up, so that wasn't around. So, yeah.
Was it expensive to play those sports? Like you had to ask, like, please, mom, can I, or dad, can I?
Yeah.
Well, my dad was very cheap, so it was hard getting money out of him. I started working at a young age. I was delivering papers. You guys remember newspapers?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have newspapers now, but I used to deliver newspapers, and I used to use that to buy my shoes and my uniforms for my athletics and everything else. So yeah.
So other than like running away from, the little kids around your town, what other difficulties did you deal with while growing up?
Growing up back in the 70s and 80s, there wasn't that many Hispanics in that area.
Yeah.
So we were definitely in the minority, and I mean, we used to they tried to beat us up. Once or twice they did beat us up. But we overcame that. We started fighting back. We weren't one of those like, oh, no, don't hit me. We fought back. And then, if my brothers or sisters saw me getting attacked, then they jump in it too. So it was just one of those things. Until the week before I went in the Army, I got in a huge fight. Gun got pulled out and everything just a week before I went in the Army.
Damn.
And it's a good thing I left, and then I went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and did my basic training, and from there is history. Yeah.
See, that's the crazy part about like the difference of how fights are nowadays. Back in the day, people would face to face. They would interact, they would run across each other, and they'll fight, if anything. But nowadays, what is it, like Twitter, everyone's complaining over social media and cyberbullying, I guess you could say.
Or you're getting blasted.
Or you're getting shot, sad to say.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
What MOS were you?
I was a 31 Victor. I was communications.
Okay.
I was communications back then. I was in electronics and everything else. And
So when did you start getting into the military? You said the age of 17?
Well, I signed
18?
when I was 7. Well, I didn't sign. My parents had to sign for me because I was a minor.
Mm-hmm.
And then my birthday came up, and then a week later, I was doing boot camp. I was doing basic training, which was tough. It was tough. But
Did you enjoy it? Though?
Yeah.
I hate basic training. The food was great, though.
Hell nah.
The food was great, but the basic training was rough. I went in September, and this was in Oklahoma. And it's crazy. The weather in Oklahoma is crazy because it can be 95 degrees at 12 o'clock. And then at 8 o'clock, it could be like 10 degrees. It was crazy weather. And then we wake up in the morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, start running, and it's like 10 degrees outside. And when you're running in cold weather, your lungs feel like a lot heavier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we must have ran like 10 miles, and people passing out, people falling out. And I was like, I can't fall out. I can't fall out.
Exactly. You can't fall out.
No, because they look down upon you.
Yep.
And they give you they make things worse for you.
Whatever you do not fall out.
Don't fall out. No, but we had some big boys in there, and they made it. So I was like, those guys can make it.
They can make it, and you can make it.
Yeah, so. Yeah, but even in the military, there's a lot of discrimination back in the day. But it's just one of those things. We got a lot of people coming from down south, Georgia and Louisiana, and they see a minority. Even though I look white basically. People see my last name and oh, you're Hispanic.
Yeah.
Oh, how did he come up here on a boat?
This full display of the name.
And I'm like, no, I was born in Pennsylvania. I don't know what you guys talking about, man.
Right.
Where in Pennsylvania?
How did I join the military?
In a small town next to Philadelphia. Yeah, called King of Prussia. Yeah, King of Prussia area. Yeah. Yeah, but I experienced a lot of things in life, man, and my goal once I started having kids, actually, is just to teach them so they won't go through the things I went through.
Yeah.
And I always, for me, since I was young, I always try to listen to older people.
Yeah.
And not because like I said, like they read or studied something, because I know they experienced it.
Exactly.
And I'll give you one example. When I got into the post office, as soon as I got in the post office, this old man, he must have been like 65 years old. He said, Amet, did you buy back your military time? You know you can retire early if you buy back your military time. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, really. So going back forward, 23 years later, they offered early retirement, and you had to have 25 years in, or it had to be 20 and 50. Well, I was only 44 at the time.
Yeah.
But what happened, I bought back my military time when I first got in, and I had 3 years, so that took me to 26. So I was able to retire at 44. And my goal when I was young, and you guys should set a goal for yourselves too. Like, when I'm at 40, what do I want to be at? Like, when I was young, as soon as I got out the military, I said, man, by the time I'm at 40, I don't want to work no more. That was my goal. I didn't hit that goal, but at least at 44, I hit that goal. Yeah. I got retired. They gave me a pension and all that other stuff. I really didn't have to work no more. But, when you start getting that money, you get greedy and you want more money. That's why I started that landscape business. But that's another story. So going back, I always listen to the elders because they experienced it, and that helps tremendously. So,
and that's one reason why we brought you on today, because I know you're mindful of your life and you've gone through experiences, and you're a very wise guy.
And the thing is, guys, set a goal for yourself. I tell everybody, set a goal for yourself. You might not reach that goal when you want to, but you'll reach it eventually. Like, I want to retire at 40. I couldn't do it, but at 44, I did it.
You're 38, so it's all good.
Yeah, so yeah.
So time, 2 more years.
So, but everything worked out.
So you said it took you to 26 years using that military.
Yeah, because I bought back my military.
So you
time.
actually really could have did it at 43, if my math's correct.
No, 44 was right on time. Yeah, I could have retired at 43. Right. Exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, so.
When did you start doing landscaping? How old were you when you got into your own business?
You know what? That fell into my hands accidentally. My dad was a landscaper, and I helped him. I always felt bad for my dad. When I was stationed here in Virginia in the military, I used to go there on the weekends to help him out because I felt bad for him because he was an older man. And he was busting his butt. So I'd actually go there on the weekends and help my dad out. I won't charge him anything because he's my dad. Just to help him out. But little did I know, he wasn't paying me with money, but he was actually paying me with knowledge. Because I started doing landscape, and then I started having my house nicely landscaped. So my brother-in-law one time, he's a painter, and he was doing work for a realtor. And the realtor said, we really need a landscaper to landscape this house so I can sell it. And he says, well, I don't know no professional realtors, but my brother-in-law's a real, his landscape is nice. Right. Let me ask him if he can help us out. So I did this house for this realtor that she was selling. And she said, oh my gosh. She said, can you do my house? And I did her house. And this is God's honest truth. I did the realtor's house. Her neighbor across the street said, wow, can you do my house? And anyway, it snowballed from there. And I said, I can probably do a little business from this on the side. Yeah. So I was literally getting off work at 3 o'clock at the post office, changing in the car while driving up Route 7.
Wow.
And going to this landscape thing by myself. And I was working till it got dark, like 6 or 7 o'clock at night. And then slowly I started getting more clients. If you do good work and you got good people skills, if you can talk to people, decently, then you can have plenty of customers on any field. I think on any field.
Oh, yeah,
even if you're a mechanic, anything. So So what ended up happening, I was actually started making more money landscaping than the post office. And I said, I got to try to switch things around. I was a mailman. I said, maybe I could become a mail handler and work at nights and then do landscaping during the day. So that's what I ended up doing. I got a job working at 10 at night until 6:30 in the morning, and literally going home, taking a shower, eating breakfast, and doing landscaping. And my goal was to only work 4 or 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
But business was booming so much, I ended up working 8, 9 hours landscaping.
So you're doing this by yourself?
Just doing by myself.
Wow. And how long did that last?
That lasted for about 3 years. Every once in a while.
Dang.
I was too young.
Yeah, and then
He's like, come on, Bram, grow up.
and, I know, right? So what ended up happening, I ended up getting an employee, then I got another employee, and then I got another employee, you know, and then I had 4 employees. But
Not to mention you're being a father at home. You're coaching basketball.
It was crazy.
Going to church.
I was working 2 jobs. I was coaching 2 basketball teams. I was coaching a football team, and I was hardly sleeping at all. I was sleeping like 2-3 hours a day. But I did this for a little while, and then I was health wise, it wasn't good for me.
Yeah.
So, but God gave me this thing where early retirement from the post office, and that probably literally saved my life. You know, the doctor said, hey, you got to not only sleep, but you got to sleep consistently.
Yeah.
You can't sleep 2 hours here, 3 hours. You got to sleep at least 5 hours straight. And I was, I was one of those things. Like I was young and making money, and I was like, okay, like I'm not gonna do it. But
I need the money.
But I really didn't need it.
You're just money hungry.
I just liked it, and I like supplying for my family. I like I'll give you an example. Justin and Lauren, one of my 2 kids, the oldest kids, their prime came up. I want them to have a nice prime. Man, I rented this stretch limo. It was like like 40 feet tall, had a flat screen TV and all this other stuff. So I love supplying for my family, providing for them.
Yeah.
Take them nice vacations. I like taking my son and his friend on vacations. And
good times.
Yeah, and I enjoy that. I enjoy seeing my family happy, content.
Yeah.
And that's one of my things. That's what brings joy to me. So.
Respect.
Yeah. Word.
For real.
Yeah. And I think. If I had advice to give you guys are all at least 20 years younger than me, and 30 years. We got a lot of males in this world.
Yeah.
But we don't have a lot of men in this world. And I think this country is going down because we don't have a lot of men in this country. We got a lot of males, but we don't have a lot of men. And I'll give you an example. The prison system is congested with all these guys in it that didn't have fathers in their lives.
Very true.
There was a candidate, and I'm not a big political guy. His name was Andrew Yang. He was running for presidency. Mm-hmm. One of these things he was offering, he says he wanted to offer marriage counseling for free, because he knew if you had a father in this child's life, a lot better chance of them finishing high school, a lot better chance of them going to college, a lot better chance of them not going to jail. And, if anything, they'd have a job and be able to provide for their families.
Exactly.
So, men are very underestimated in this country, and people need to push them a little more to become men. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That makes me kind of ask now, like, what is your viewpoint on our generation of adults? That's pretty much answering it. But where do you see like our generation really going? Because obviously you growing up was a whole lot different of a generation, you know. Do you see that's going downhill or uphill? I mean,
it depends how you want to look at it, because back then women weren't so liberated. Like, for example, and you guys might like it now that women are liberated, because, you know, most women are like, oh, I'll pay the half. No, you don't have to pay for my half. So, you know, you save 50% of the bill on the meal. But back then, men provided, men opened the doors, men, you know, pulled out the chairs and stuff. You know, things are a lot different now, you know, because women want to be more equal. So guys are like, okay, you want to be equal? All right, well, you know, you pay your half of the meal or whatever. So
So relationship-wise, there's chivalry like that, keeping that alive, where you're a gentleman. But anything else, because it's not just those kind of actions. It'll also be like other decisions, right?
Yeah, well, I don't want to get too biblical on this. I know this is not a biblical show, but I'm going to bring up one point real quick. When on Adam and Eve, right? You guys know Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Eve took the forbidden fruit, right? And then, you know, they both hid in the garden and stuff. And so God went to Adam and said, you know, Adam, where you at? And I always wondered, when I was younger, I went to a Catholic school and everything, and I was, what the heck does that mean? You know, God is all-knowing. What is he asking Adam? Where's he at? Why? Because he's on, you know, he sees him, he's talking to him. Mm-hmm. He said, so why is he saying, Adam, where you at? So later on in life, I learned through this pastor, his name is Pastor Tony Evans, he said, he wasn't asking him, Adam, where you at, as far as location. He was asking him, Adam, where you at as far as your position, you know, in life. Like, let's say your older brother is with you and you do something wrong, you know, when you're little. Yeah. Your mom would say to your older brother, hey, where were you at? Like, but it wasn't like your location. It was like his position. Like,
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
so, like, and even though, and I always wondered, Adam was in charge. He was the head of the household, you know. Because my thing is, Eve was the one that picked the fruit. Why are you blaming Adam? You know what I'm saying? But it was, Adam was the head of the household. He's in charge. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's in charge of the household. It's just like in football, you know, the players don't get fired. It's the head coach. But the players are the ones that make the mistake. But the head coach, he's in charge of the players. Like, and it's pretty much like a family, you know. Like, if my kids mess up, you know, like, you know, Brandon or somebody might mess up, you know. Yeah. You know, when he was younger, they won't look at Brandon, they look at me. Or just like when I was coaching a basketball team and we lose, you know, somebody missed a three-pointer with 1 second left or something.
Come on, coach.
They'd be like,
what I do, that's your kid.
I know, yeah, that's your kid. Yeah, so
yeah.
So it's just one of those things. I know, I'm not on the court.
Give me the ball.
I know, right? So it's just one of those things. You get blamed because you're the head of the household. Yeah. And it's just one of those things. But all right. So what else? What's up? I threw you guys off there as a little curveball.
No, it's good information because, you know, every day should be a learning day.
Yeah.
Word of advice.
And a lot of times you learn from your mistakes, because a lot of stuff that I know, it's not because I succeeded, it's because I messed up. You know, one of the most successful guys in the world, or richest guys in the world, they learn from their mistakes. You know not to do that again, or, you know, they can tweak this and do this. But, you know, so it's a lot of times you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, I think that's like one thing I've always tried to attempt, is just to kind of try things, you know, and see how the outcome is.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
That's the only way you're really going to figure it out, because you could start something that can actually be something. For an example, with the, you know, landscaping, you just kind of got like the eye, like, oh wow, these people will like what I'm doing, and then from there you create it into something that is making a living for you, you know,
Yeah.
and your family.
Yeah, and it's funny, all these circumstances just happen to fall on my lap. Like, I got a contract for a homeowners association that just happened to be on my homeowners association. So I literally don't even have to drive. I'm right there.
Yeah.
I'm working right on my own
grounds.
Own grounds.
Yeah.
So it works out. So I've been really, really blessed. Yeah.
Well, is there anything else? I know you want to eat you some dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So
You know where Farrell, Pennsylvania is?
Farrell, no.
Yeah. Okay, that's where my dad's from.
Oh, really? Is that in middle Pennsylvania or?
It was like northern.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, what are some ideal things to make a good man? A couple of ideal things that need to be done or taken place.
To be
a good man, like
Yeah.
to your wife, to
It's a
your
good
girlfriend,
question.
Look,
to your children, yourself.
yeah,
look, 3 things, and this is what I tell the guys that come over to meet my daughter. All right, or when they ask my daughter's hand in marriage, for my blessing, and this is what I told them. I said, look, there's just 3 things I want you to do. Protect them physically, number 1. Okay. Protect them emotionally, and that might be the hardest one.
yeah,
And protect them financially. Those 3 things. Emotionally is the hardest one because sometimes, and I tell guys, women don't always want solutions. I'm one of those guys, if my wife complains to me, I'm like, well, do this, this, and this, and it'll be taken
you
care
think
of.
logically.
Right. But women, they just want you, they want you to hear them out.
Yeah,
They just want to vent.
yeah,
And they can talk, and all you have to do is say, yes, okay, yeah, really, whoa, okay, and they just want to vent.
This is just an example.
Yeah, this is just an example. But they don't want solutions. They don't want you to fix the problem.
Yeah.
They just want to hear it, and they feel a lot better. So it's
Yeah.
just one of those things. But for me,
To be there with them.
Yeah.
to be a good man to a woman, those 3 things. Those 3 things.
Your mom at the boss's podcast be like, oh, okay.
I see what you're doing.
She's like, oh,
okay.
no, you're not going to
Gotcha.
get me this time.
I'm venting, huh?
Sure sounds tough.
Yeah.
Just
so-
repeat it back to her, maybe. So
Yeah,
she knows you're listening. But no, he is listening. It's just it's part of security. Be there emotionally, financially, and what was the other one? Physically protect.
He's almost doing it.
Physically, mentally, emotionally.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's important to stand your grounds when you're out with your girl because you never know, there could be some harm pop up on you. You learn that from a young age.
deal with
Yeah.
that.
Like, yeah, do you ever feel that way? Like,
We smoking
could be a little
20%.
dangerous.
Everyone's on site.
Not this area, just
No.
I'm say if you're in your hometown.
I never had anything, nobody ever stepped on my wife. Probably verbally, but within her own family. So, of course I stepped in and said something because that's what you're supposed to do.
yeah,
You're not going to be a punk and not say
Exactly.
nothing.
Yep.
And that's one of those things. The way I grew up in the hood, is if somebody did something to you, you had to retaliate somehow. But I'm at a point where I don't retaliate physically. Verbally, I'd say something to them, and and go from there.
So, when those kind of situations arise, you got to step up to the plate. What are some things that I can do or we can do to be a good leader? Because you said, the man holds the role of, serving the household or also being the one to be responsible. I feel like more so. So how can we be better leaders?
Well, first of all, you got to live by example. And you can't go by what the world is doing. Like, I'll give you an example. When my daughters were growing up, I had this thing, hey, you had to be home by, it depends on what grade they're in. If they're in 9th grade, be home by 9, and 10th grade, 10th, and so on. And they were like, no, Dad, the other kids are staying out later, and then you actually get your own spouse going against you. Like, the other kids are doing it. No, I'm not going to do that because I know what happens after, at a certain time.
Yeah.
So if you hold your ground, and believe me, in the future, after my daughter got married, she told me, she said, Dad, I appreciate what you did because there was a lot of bad things happening after this certain time. And you're right. And I said, okay. And a lot of times when you guys have to make tough decisions on your lives, it's gonna be tough. But stick with it. If you guys know it's right, stick with it. And a closing note, I'm proud of all you guys for what you guys are doing here.
Appreciate it.
This is positive, and you guys got a lot of people listening to you guys, and you guys are doing good stuff here.
I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and,
For real.
I didn't see Joey growing up, but I seen you two guys growing up, and
Yeah.
it's nice seeing you guys still hanging tough.
For real.
Especially, you guys got your own girlfriends and everything, and I know at one time you guys were hanging out every day. Every stinking day,
Brandon.
And I know when your girlfriend,
I'm still dating her.
and when your girlfriends came in the mix, they started having some, and I'm gonna put this out there on you guys.
Uh-oh.
You can edit it.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm not. No edits. No edits.
This is blood raw.
This is raw footage.
You guys have a little dispute, because you start having your girlfriend, and you guys, I think. Your girlfriend wasn't in the picture yet, but your girlfriend was in the picture, or your wife now.
Yeah.
And you guys weren't hanging out as much, and it kind of threw you guys off for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I noticed it because I seen you guys hanging out every day,
Pretty much.
and it was like, well, Brandon was in love, so he was like.
Spaced out.
He didn't see Drake no more. He had those blinders on.
Nah.
And
Cut it.
It's on my neck.
That's messed up.
And I noticed it. And I
Thank you.
And I called Drake and I said, Drake, I said, Brandon loves you as a brother. And whatever you guys are going through, it's going to happen. He's in love. He's probably going to marry this girl. He didn't propose yet, but I saw it coming.
Yeah.
And when I said, don't worry, you guys. Remember, I called you.
Yeah, I remember that.
And what I appreciated, because you responded to what I said.
Yeah.
And like the next day, and I didn't tell Brandon I called you. Brandon called me and said, "Oh, Daddy, me and Drake worked it out," which was awesome, and that's the way it should be. And what was touching to me at Brandon's wedding, not that he was really getting married, it was the people in his lives that was with him.
Yeah.
Was there,
Thanks.
and it was real touching to see you there.
Yeah.
They had that fallout because his girlfriend's wife now, but then they came together. And you went to his wedding during a pandemic when it was real.
It was the worst time.
Questions.
It was the highest peak. It was like in May.
Yeah.
And you were there with Angelica. Angelica was a beautiful thing, and I'll never forget that. That was awesome.
No, I mean,
It felt really good.
that was a time because, it's like nothing's gonna stop it, from me going to see my boy get married. Simple as that.
And that was beautiful. And I know your personality,
Yeah.
so I know you were really scared of this pandemic. You're like, no, don't come near me.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
showed up, man.
Yeah.
That you get a lot of props, man, for doing that.
Well, I'm glad you acknowledged it because I remember you acknowledged it to me. You're just
Yeah.
like, Drake, you're a good friend.
Yeah.
That's all he said. I was just like,
And I
cry.
meant that wholeheartedly.
yeah.
You're definitely not fair weather, and there's a lot of fair weather people out there. This is your brother right here.
For real.
I think the same for Joey.
It's the same Joey.
I'm just a new guy.
I think it's the third time I saw
Forgot he was
him.
here.
I remember seeing Joey
I know, it's just like
like 10 years ago.
I'm just here for the area space. That's all.
All right.
Well, you just want to wrap it up now?
Can
You gotta go to Olive Garden, man.
I know, but I don't want to keep you starving. I don't want you to pass out on the show.
No. I'm good.
I mean, unless you want us to go viral.
Pass out now.
Older man passes out in the show.
I gotta be older man. No,
He works.
all good.
He works all day. That's why.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, that's a good point though. That there's some fair weather folks, and I've heard that term before to describe someone like, hey, if the weather's going well, then I'll stay with you. But
they're just there for the good times.
Yeah, exactly. The hurricane comes, and hey, that shouldn't keep you from being with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but there was literally a pandemic, and there was a small wedding, and we just said we're gonna have, your closest siblings and relatives, and then Drake shows up. That was awesome.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah, he got invited, so
Yeah.
Was it unexpected? you thought I wasn't gonna come?
Not
you just weren't sure.
I know you the way you guys were. I knew you were gonna show up. That's just like my boy in the military. He's been my friend since I was 18 years old. He got married in California. His wedding was in California. I showed up for that. He showed up to my wedding, both my weddings. That's another story. And I'm always there for him. His mom passed away. She was in Atlanta last year. I went to the funeral in Georgia, and he saw me.
it's great to keep that lifelong.
He was like, I knew you were going to be here.
Wow.
And that's just that's what boys do for each other, And when you 30 years from now, 50 years from now, God forbid anything happens to your parents, Brandon will be there for you. You be for Brandon and Joey and
any scenario.
I'm the driver. I'm the driver.
So, all right.
Chauffeur.
He's running the room to us.
Yeah.
He's bored.
He's charging right.
Yeah. So.
Well, honestly, it was really nice to have you on today.
Appreciate that. Appreciate the invite.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll definitely try to make something happen in the near future. Hopefully, you can have you here again.
You talk more than Rizzo.
Yeah, really.
Rizzo.
Come on, I talk too much.
That's good.
But
step your shit up.
This is the Room Podcast, episode 15. Special guest, Mr. Fuentes. Thank you for joining us today. Peace.
Yup.
Deuces.